Hello, hopefully this is going live on Facebook in our Emerging Women Plus group. Having a few technical difficulties, but hopefully they're taken care of now. So my name is Carol Yakabuchi, and I am a certified Dream Builder coach and life mastery coach, and my company is called The Carol Connection. So we are going to have on Wednesdays Connect with Coach Carol. And I am the author of the second chapter in our book, Belonging: Secrets to Soothe the Soul. And my chapter is called The Adventure is Well Worth the Effort. And I would like to go on an adventure with you. Over the next several weeks, I'd like to start looking at some of the things called our mental faculties. You know, we all know our five senses. We can see, we can hear, we can smell, we can taste, we can touch. And those five senses allow us to interact in this physical realm of a world that we're in. But we're more than just a physical person. We are a spiritual being having a physical presence. And our spiritual being is really who we are, and our physical plane is where we're at right now, and where those two connect is the now, right? And in the now is where we are breathing. You know, if you ever want to connect to the now, take a deep breath in and blow out slowly through your mouth. Because when you go blow out slowly through your mouth, it puts you into that rest, relaxed, creative mode and takes us out of the fight, flight, or freeze mode. So that's an excellent breathing technique there. In through the nose, out through the mouth, and just kind of brings us down into the now, into the present, into where our spiritual being is connected to us on our physical plane. And again, our five senses allow us to interact with this physical plane. But we also have mental faculties that allow us to interact with our spiritual side. And that's what I want to get into over the next several weeks. So I would like to go on an adventure with you to dig in deeper to these 6 mental faculties. And the first one we're going to cover, we're just going to talk about it a little bit today. The first one is imagination. And, you know, imagination is really the source of our creative souls. And when we were kids, we imagined all the time. But as adults, we forget to imagine. But really, imagination brings so much creativity to us. And that's where we want to start poking into imagination. Another one is intuition. So intuition is that little sixth sense that's in the back of our mind. It's also that thing tapping us on the shoulder saying, well, we should do this and we should do that. And of course, my cheat sheet is behind this video on the iPad because my computer decided to die on me. So I am going to just reach behind me real quick and get out another cheat sheet so I don't forget the rest of them. So, imagination is going to allow us to really get into our dreams, and we'll talk about that one more next week. We'll really dive into imagination. But that's where we can really create our dream. And when we create our dream, we're really going to use those 5 senses, because even though our dream's coming to us from the spiritual realm, we create the dream in the physical realm. So we really need to have our 5 senses really handy and available to us to create that dream, define it, really bring it to life. We want to visualize it, taste it, smell it, see it. And imagination's going to help us do that. So we'll dig into that more next week. And again, the second one is intuition. Intuition is that, knocking on, telling us, hey, we should be thinking about this, or we should do that. could just come to us as out of the blue, things that happen to us or come to us as ideas. So we really need to listen to intuition, so we'll get into that the following week. Then we have the will, and we'll talk about what all that means, the will. And then we have memory. So this is really interesting with memory because we have backward memory, which everybody always thinks about. We remember all the things that happened to us before. But we also have forward memory. And forward memory is where we get to create what that memory is we want to have. And there is a little blurb from Alice in Wonderland who talks about memory being, I believe it was the Queen, who said that, memory is a really poor thing if it only goes in one direction, and that's an ad lib, of course. The other thing we're going to get into is reason, and we'll dig deep into what does that mean from the spiritual side. What does reason mean there? And then it's not the reason that we think of the things being reasonable, because reasonable, there's two kinds of thinking. There's common hour thinking, and there's brave thinking. In common hour thinking, we look at all of our circumstances around us, what's happened to us before, and we look at things as being, well, that might be a reasonable thing to do based on where I am right now. But brave thinking sets all that aside, and brave thinking says, oh no, we're not going to be reasonable about the current circumstances. We're going to reach out to our dream and what we really want to create. And then the sixth one we're going to look at is perception. How do we perceive things? Again, are we perceiving things from a common hour outlook, or are we perceiving things from a brave thinking outlook? So we're going to go on an adventure and dig deeper into each one of these 6 mental faculties that are going to help us get in tune with our spiritual side. And again, our spiritual side is always with us, and we live in this physical plane, and where they connect in the now is where we can breathe. And breathing takes us back to the present. So I know Taz was talking about overwhelm yesterday, and she gave us some great tips about, how to get out of overwhelm and come back to the present. And one of those that she talked about was breathing, because the only place you can breathe is now. So I know it's kind of a quick introduction, but I just wanted to, introduce myself to you, and also talk a little bit more about the things we're going to dig deeper into over the next few weeks. So I see a couple comments pop up. Eve loves imagination. Therese says, imagination is what creates our lives and everything we know. And so she's glad I'm going to go deeper into this. And let's see, Taz joined us, and Lisa joined us, and Sheila joined us live watching this. So thank you so much for coming on live with me. And like I said, we're going to dig deeper into imagination next week, so I look forward to seeing you then. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.